Well, that's one 2022 hit songs video down, but I still got one more to go before the year ends. I already talked about the worst hit songs of 2022, now let's talk about the best. Like I said in the worst video, it was a lot easier for me to come up with a list of candidates for the best list and the worst list. Most of the hit songs this year really weren't that bad with a few exceptions. Unlike the worst list where I didn't have to narrow the list down to 15 songs, the 10 songs in the list plus the 5 dishonorable mentions, I did have to narrow down this list. I ended up picking 19 songs as candidates for this list, meaning I had to narrow those down to 15. This also means that there were 4 songs that were candidates for this list, but weren't quite as good as the rest. This isn't the top 20 best hit songs of 2022 though, it's a top 10. I don't want this video to be any longer than it has to. Before we start this list, just a reminder as always that the 85 songs that debut on the 2022 Billboard Year and Hot 100 list are the eligible songs for this list, not any of the songs that made last year's list or missed this year's list. I will be referencing songs I put in my previous top 10 best and worst hit songs list, so go watch those videos if you haven't. Click the link in the description or in the card. And finally, this list is just my opinion. Don't get mad at me if I put a song that you don't like on here. Let me know your favorite hit songs of 2022 were. Alrighty then, let's end this year right. Starting off, we have number 10.
If you're gonna love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can, till you can.
You know, I seem to have a liking towards country songs about a father-to-son conversation. My favorite hit song of 2020 was a song in that category. And make no mistake, Till You Can't isn't nearly as heartwarming or beautiful as Even Though I'm Leaving by Luke Combs was. Rather than being a song about a father telling his son that he's always with him no matter what during 3 parts of his son's life, Till You Can't is a song where the father tells his son to take a chance on a girl he loves and shows that girl that he loves her. After all, if he doesn't act soon, the opportunity to have someone who loves him might slip him by. Maybe the girl will move away or fall in love with someone else before he can confess his love. While the take a chance on love message might be a little cheesy, it's still sweet and I can't help but appreciate it. I think what really makes the song work is that the song is told from the perspective of the father. The father's a lot older and wiser than his son, and he might have seen or experienced something like this for himself. It's nice to little bit of fatherly advice to tell his son to chase his dreams so that what happened to him or possibly someone he knew doesn't happen to his son. I guess it didn't want to be repeated the situation in Thomas Rhett's Marry Me. By the way, I know I only started doing the top 10 best and worst hit songs videos in 2020, but spoiler alert, Marry Me is the number 1 best hit song of 2018. If I ever start doing top 10 best and worst hit songs videos from previous years, I'll talk more about that song then. And again, Till You Can't isn't quite as beautiful as that song, but it does have its heart in the right place. Another thing I like about the song is how it tries to sound more like a traditional country song. I made the Luke Combs comparison earlier, and it is clear that Cody Johnson is going for a Luke Combs country sound here. Not only does his voice sound very similar to Luke Combs, but the song's production with its gentle guitar and slight twang, only to wrap up the sound in the chorus, really gives it that great warm acoustic country sound. And hey, for a song that's a father-to-son conversation, it makes perfect sense for it to sound a little more traditional. It is from the perspective of a kid's old man after all. It seems that the traditional country sound is having a bit of a comeback now. Those of you upset with all the broke country artists clogging up the country charts over the past few years can rejoice. Great song, and definitely deserving of being the second best country song of the year. Of course, it wasn't the best hit country song of the year, but I'll talk about that later.
We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno.
I'm probably gonna get some weird looks for putting this song on here. After all, the 2 hit songs from Encanto were probably 3 of the most unusual songs to be hits this year. After all, they're Disney songs, and those don't typically become hits on Billboard. And even those that do are the pop covers of them and not the actual songs in the movies. But this song is a big exception. Similar to Let It Go from Frozen, we don't talk about Bruno kind of being a pop culture phenomenon where the song itself seems to be more popular than the Disney movie it came from. Now, this isn't my favorite song from Encanto. That would be What Else Can I Do, but I will deny that I do enjoy We Don't Talk About Bruno just enough to feature on this list. I like the gossipy tone of the song, which fits the song's content, especially when Dolores is whispering on her part. I like the fact that it's an ensemble song and that most of the Magical family gets a part on it. It does show that they know something about Bruno that they want to keep on the down low. That does fit within the context of the movie itself, especially when you learn about Bruno, why he's been ostracized from the family. Plus, we do get some banter between the family members. You telling the story, or am I? It's lines like that which make it feel a little more on the spot rather than a song that was rehearsed beforehand, which fits for a musical film. I like the upbeat sound and how it incorporates salsa and Latin pop to make the song feel more appropriate for a film set in Colombia. Hey, don't think that just because 3 Bad Bunny songs made by Versus that I don't like some Latin music. It mostly depends on the way it sounds. This upbeat salsa groove sounds much better than the sterile, boring reggaeton production that those Bad Bunny songs had. Like Surface Pressure, it is a song that works better within the context of the movie, especially since the song's purpose in the movie is to introduce us to Bruno's backstory and offer some character development. But as a song on its own, it's pretty good. The Madrigal family doesn't want to talk about Bruno, but I certainly do.
This song is over. I gotta find her 'cause she had me. It's Carolina.
Okay, first off, no, this isn't the best hit country song of 2022. I probably should have mentioned that there's 3 country songs that are making this list, and this is the second. Unlike the previous country song I talked about, instead of being a heartfelt father-to-son song, She Had Me at Heads Carolina is the kind of song that you sing at the bar. And it's no coincidence that the lyrics perfectly capture that, as Cole Swindell sings about a girl singing karaoke night at the bar and how he seems to already be falling for her. It's the kind of carefree, feel-good, upbeat country song that just fits within that setting perfectly. If you are a country fan at a bar and it was karaoke night, of course you want to sing some 90s country songs. While I'm sure it'll annoy someone, I actually like that the song references and samples the 1996 Joe D. Messina song Heads Carolina, Tails California. It's a 90s country song after all, and it is a song that they probably sing there. Of course, reference to that song isn't just done to rip it off, it's paying homage. And hey, it seems that Joe D. Messina herself was a fan. She actually hopped into a remix of the song performed it with Cole Swindell at the 2022 CMA Awards. And that remix isn't quite as good as the solo version. It does feel a little weird the singer of the original song would be put into the role of the girl at the karaoke bar singing that song. But the original is still a fun country song that'll make you want to sing along with it, as if you were singing karaoke at the same bar. Hey, when a song about singing karaoke makes you want to sing along to it, I actually did something right. Definitely one of the most fun songs on this list, and I'm glad it became Cole Swindell's highest charting song to date. I still got an even better country song coming later on this list, so stay tuned for that. Till then, Cole Swindell, you had me at Heads Carolina, Tails California.
Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building.
Now here's the other song that's among the 3 most unusual hits this year. In this case, it's unusual not because it's a Disney song, it's not, but because this is a song from 1985 that ended up getting revived into relevancy this year thanks to Stranger Things. It's pretty unusual for a song to end up getting renewed popularity almost 40 years later, and it's even more unusual that song would end up becoming even more popular during the renewed popularity back when it first came out. This song was not a hit in the USA in 1985. It only reached number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100 back then. But now, in 2022, it managed to reach number 3. Now, let me just say that I've never actually seen Stranger Things. I've heard it's a good show, but I've just never gotten around to watching it, so I can't say anything about the song's inclusion in Stranger Things or how that relates to the song's revived popularity. I can only speak about the song's quality itself, and it's pretty good. I like the 80s new wave sound here. It gives the song a very atmospheric tone to it and helps to give the song more swell. It's the kind of song that can sound both chill and laid back, but also upbeat and danceable at the same time, depending on what kind of mood you're in. Then we get to the lyrics, where Kate Bush seeks to find some common ground with someone else, saying that if she could, she'd make a deal with God to swap their places so they can each perceive the struggles of each other firsthand. There's a lot of subtext to this, and these lyrics could be interpreted a few different ways. The most popular interpretation is that it's a way for men and women to understand each other's struggles. In that sense, the song almost feels ahead of its time. There's a lot that men and women each go through that the other gender usually doesn't have to. Finding a way to bridge that gap and understand the struggles of each other is definitely important. Never think you've got it easy. Your struggles might not be struggles at all to someone else, and vice versa. Running up that hill might be challenging for you, but it might not be easy for someone else. It's steeper for some and less steep for others. But putting yourself in the shoes of someone who finds it steeper might give you a great appreciation for them. I've certainly got some great appreciation for this song. Feels weird it took so long to finally become a hit in the States, but I'm glad it did. I wonder if Kate Bush made a deal with God to make that happen.
I can put you in.
Well, here's a song I didn't expect to put on here. Alright, so if you see my 3 worst hit songs videos, you would know that I am not a fan of most modern rap. I think a lot of it is generic, uninteresting, and or has grating production. Hip-hop is by far the most represented genre in all my worst hit songs list, mostly because the majority of rap that does come out nowadays is just unappealing to me. However, never let it be said that I hate all hip-hop. The truth is, there are some hip-hop songs I do genuinely enjoy, particularly the kind that leans into the melodic and catchy, and the fact that this song is making the list should make it clear this song does fall into the category of hip-hop songs I do like. I'll admit, this song was definitely the biggest surprise to me when listening through all the eligible songs. Unlike most modern hip-hop with boring or grating trap production, First Class goes for more smooth, chilled sort of sound with the piano line, quiet horns, and Jack Harlow's voice sounding laid back, but at the same time, not bored. It does sort of give me the vibe of sitting back and flying on a first-class airplane, which I definitely think is what the song was going for. And sure, the song is about him bragging about his rich lifestyle, but at least no lyrics about spending racks or anything. Plus, I also think the incorporation of the Fergie sample on the chorus is clever, where it not only uses the title lyric, but also the letters of the word glamorous to create some new rap lyrics. Although the song doesn't get away scot-free with the lyrics, since Jack Harlow does rhyme I am with itself 5 times in the second verse, and there is that one line, pineapple juice, I give her sweet, sweet, sweet semen. Gross. One bad line aside though, First Class is a perfect showcase of how to make a hip-hop song that sounds laid back and chill, but also not boring. I definitely wouldn't have expected the rapper who did What's Poppin' to have made this song, but he did. I'm glad there's one hip-hop song that made the 2023 Hot 100 year list that I can say I genuinely enjoy, and I'm glad this was the biggest hip-hop song of the year as opposed to any of the hip-hop songs that made the worst list. And if it wasn't obvious already, it's the best hip-hop hit song of 2022. Check it out.
No, it's not the same as it was.
Seriously, this couldn't have been the #1 biggest hit song of 2022? It had to be Heat Waves by Glass Animals? I think most people were predicting this would be the #1 biggest hit song of 2022, and I'm a little disappointed that I was just beat up by a bad song that made my worst list last year. But for the song that won the runner-up spot, I'm glad it was this one. Maybe I'm only saying this because we had an actual song from the 80s a couple slots ago, but this is a song that definitely makes me think of the 1980s. The synth-pop sound reminds me a lot of a-ha's Take On Me, the guitar-driven melody, Harry Styles' soft vocals that don't sound too lit but also don't need to project. The song definitely wears its influences on his sleeves, and it's plain to see. I mean, hey, any song inspired by a-ha's Take On Me is bound to be in my good graces. Then finally, we had the lyrics about starting anew and feeling the loss of things not being the same as they were. Despite the somewhat melancholic lyrics, they actually do sound nice against a major key. Surprisingly, the two elements work together and don't end up clashing. It's honestly brilliant, and I applaud the song for pulling that sound off. Also, that vocal event over Harry's voice in the bridge also helps to add to that feeling of distance and loneliness while also not ruining the song's tone. It certainly seems that Harry Styles has come quite the way since One Direction. His other hit song this year, Late Night Talking, was also a contender for this list, but it just missed the cut. He was actually the only One Direction member with any hits this year, and it's safe to say he's a member with the biggest solo career. Off of this song and Late Night Talking, I can definitely see why. His music's not the same as it was when he was in One Direction. It's gotten even better.
I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting my favorite tunes. I only got one thing on my mind.
I've said this in the past. Sometimes, if a song is just upbeat and catchy, then that's all it takes me to deem a song good. Having a sticky melody and happy sound can end up making me not care about anything else. While She Had Me in Heads Carolina was a pretty catchy upbeat song, there was another hit song this year that was even more catchy and upbeat, and that of course was Sunroof. The melody is bright and bubbly, the production is warm and inviting, and the lyrics about being head over heels about a girl and driving down the street with her playing music just sounds sweet. It's a very sticky song, the kind of song that you will never be able to unhear once you hear it once. And sure, while I could nitpick that the lyrics are a bit simple due to having a single verse, and the intro and outro just being a bunch of la-da sounds, and post-chorus mostly just being a bunch of oh-whoa sounds, I don't really care. The song is just so cheery and fun that it forgives everything else. It's exactly the kind of song that does make me want to blast it in the car, stick my head out of the sunroof, and bob my head to it as the car's driving down the street. Once again, when the song makes you want to do the very thing it's describing in the first place, that's when you know it did something right. If this were the top 10 catchiest songs of 2022, this would definitely be number 1. It's a shame that Nicky Yor hasn't put out anything else that's done quite as well, and he's probably going to end up being a one-hit wonder. Still though, I'm glad the song did end up becoming a hit. It's infectiously earwormy, and I couldn't be happier that song this fun got heard by so many people. I'm stuck on the thought of this song.
I remember it all too well.
Well, here's another song that's from before this decade that managed to have a resurgence. In this case, however, it's the re-recorded version of Taylor Swift's song All Too Well from her 2012 album Red. This re-recorded version does differ from the original song in one big way beyond just being a new recording. The original song is 5.5 minutes long, whereas this re-recorded version is 10 minutes long. Apparently, this actually was the original length of the song when Taylor first wrote it, but she had to trim it down for the album. Here, though, she decided to keep it at its original length. But anyway, how is the song itself? Well, the fact that it's in my top 3 best songs of the year should be an obvious indicator that I really like the song, and I do. It's not the best thing I've heard from Taylor Swift, but it is still a very good song where she vividly describes her nostalgic feelings for when she was with a boy. I gotta say, Taylor Swift is an incredibly talented songwriter. She uses a lot of great imagery to really make the viewer visually think about what she's describing. It definitely gives you the feeling of a cold autumn day. Not to mention, the song nails the nostalgic wistful feeling it's going for and makes you feel for her heartbreak. It's definitely the most poetic song on this list. Not to mention, the song also knows how to slowly build up over the course of its length, starting with a guitar before adding drums and having a climax to the final chorus. Admittedly, it doesn't hit quite as hard as it could, but I also feel like restraining it does work to sell the wistful, heartbroken mood of the song. It's beautifully arranged, the production definitely does the content justice. By the way, it's weird to hear Taylor Swift drop an F-bomb in this song. Was this the first song with an F-bomb? I will say, however, the song does drag on a bit long. This is a 10-minute song after all, but it's definitely longer than I like songs to be, which is why it's not higher on this list. This isn't the kind of song I can fully listen to in any time or mindset. Around 7 minutes in is when I feel like the song should end, since that is when the final chorus happens. It didn't need a 3-minute outro. That being said, if you are in the right mindset and if you have the patience for a song of this length, it's definitely worth it. And it's also quite an accomplishment for it to break the record for the longest song to ever hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Congrats, Taylor. You earned it. You know it all too well.
Damn straight, you're killing me, man. You know I've always been your biggest fan.
Oh look, here's another beautifully arranged, heartfelt song. And really, there wasn't any way the song was gonna miss the list. Like seriously, not putting this song on the list would be an absolute crime. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but this song hits almost as hard as Even Though I'm Bleeding by Luke Combs did. It's another absolutely fantastic traditional sounding country song with some incredibly emotional, well-written lyrics. Like She Had Me in Heads Carolina, it's another song that references at least one older country song. In this case, numerous songs by legendary country singer George Strait. But rather than just dropping the song title in the chorus, it uses multiple in a way that actually helps with the storytelling. Baby blue is the color of her eyes. You know you'll always be the king, but right now, I hate everything. The other day right out of a blue clear sky, you came in my truck. It's very cleverly written, but it's not just dropping these George Strait song references for no reason. Scotty McCreery is referencing them because he can't listen to these songs the same way again anymore. He used to listen to George Strait with his girlfriend all the time, except now, he and his girlfriend aren't together anymore. So now, hearing George Strait makes him think of his girlfriend and makes him long for her. He'll always be a fan of George Strait deep down, but he just can't listen to a George Strait song the same way again because of what's happened. That's a very relatable story. I'm sure for a lot of people, there's a certain piece of media that they used to love, but now they can't enjoy it the same way they did before because it makes them think of an old partner they aren't with anymore, or possibly a deceased family member. And sure, they don't hate the piece of media in question now, but they just can't enjoy it the same way they used to because it brings back gut-wrenching memories. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any piece of media that's like that for me, but I can definitely sympathize with that. Sometimes, with time, you gain a whole new perspective on something, and you end up looking at a media you used to love in a new way. It's not always a way that's easy to stomach, but it is a new way regardless. Damn, Scotty, you done good here. Absolutely fantastic song. But there was another hit song this year that I think was even better. Before I get to my number 1 pick though, let's briefly discuss a few honorable mentions.
If I can't be close to you, I'll settle for the ghost of you.
This late album single from Justice showcases what Justin Bieber is capable of doing when he's not occupying my number 1 worst song of 2020 list. A pretty good song that crosses acoustic music with electropop, with lyrics about longing for a loved one. You know what, the way the song is written, Justin Bieber seems to be implying this loved one no longer being with him is true in more than one way. Lyrics like, I know you crossed the bridge that I can't follow, or the title lyric, if I can't be close to you, I'll settle for the ghost of you, I miss you more than life, seem to imply that this may be a song about mourning a deceased loved one, not just being sad about breakup. That's another layer to the song's meaning, definitely makes it a little greater. It is a bit short though, the song could have benefited from a third verse or bridge, but alas. Still a good song though, check it out.
So you should probably leave.
Oh, hey Chris Stapleton, nice to see you again. Sorry you didn't quite make the cut for the list this time, but You Should Probably Leave is still a pretty good country/folk song. It's a song about an on and off again couple trying to force a relationship to work that just isn't working, so one person has to put their foot down and say, you know what, you should probably leave. But they don't try to force them out, they just suggest they leave because this relationship just isn't working. Deep down though, they don't actually want the other person to leave. They're only suggesting they leave because they feel like it's what's best for both of them. It shows the protagonist's flaws, but also their commitment to do the right thing, even if it means being alone. Add a nice guitar line, it's a pretty harmonization, and you got a pretty good song. You should probably listen to it.
When you said you loved me, well, you must have had your fingers crossed.
You know, TikTok may have made a lot of bad songs go viral, but sometimes a decent song goes viral there. Seriously, barely anyone would even know about the song if not for TikTok. This song is completely independent, no record label behind it at all. Fingers Crossed definitely does have that bedroom pop sound to it, with lyrics about an unfaithful partner that left Lauren Spencer Smith heartbroken and bitter. The emotion is well told, and it does have a nice arrangement with the gentle guitar and the swells of drums. Not to mention that Lauren Spencer Smith can sell the emotion of heartbreak mixed with anger in her singing. If there's a nitpick I do have with the song, it's that it does feel a little short. I think the song could have benefited from a third verse or bridge. Still though, I'm glad we had at least one good song go viral on TikTok and become a hit this year. It's definitely refreshing.
Between a rock and a hard place, red wine and mistakes.
And here's another country song about a relationship that's not going too well. In this song, Bailey Zimmerman sings about his partner and how they thought they'd end up together forever. They've been talking about it for some time, but now, after a fight, it looks like the relationship's on the line. Now Bailey's wondering if this relationship will even continue on. It's a tough situation to be in. He's definitely in between a rock and a hard place here. It's a relatable scenario that I'm sure has happened to many couples before. Sometimes they ended up patching it up and did end up getting married. Maybe they ended up like the couple and You Should Probably Leave. But you do want what's best for them at the end of the day. Add in Bailey Zimmerman singing, selling the emotion of being exhausted yet also unsure on what to do next, and some guitar twangs, and it's another country song that was just shy of missing this list.
She likes it when, she likes it when, she likes it when.
Just like how Just the Way by Parmalee and Blanca Brown made my best list last year, here's another country pop song that I can understand why a lot of country purists might hate, but I just enjoy regardless. And sure, like Just the Way, there is a nitpick I have about two guys singing about the same girl when it probably should have been one guy. However, she likes it, it's still a sweet little ditty that I just can't help but enjoy. It's a song where the protagonist is singing about all the little things this girl likes that he does, just as they're about to have a romantic night. It's a little cheesy, but it's definitely sweet. It's clear that the guy does genuinely love the girl and just wants to make her happy. Maybe the production is a little simple with just some guitars and drums, but I think it fits the bedroom feel it's trying to go for. It's a simple but effective little love song. I don't care what the boyfriend country haters say. But now, let's talk about a song that's even better than any of the 14 I just talked about. Time to finish this year off beautifully with the #1 best hit song of 2022.
Go easy, hug me, baby.
Okay, obvious choice is obvious. Admit it, you knew this would be #1. I mean, how could it not? And man, it seems to be a trend for the top 3 songs in this year's best list to all be emotional, heartfelt ballads. And well, since this is number 1, it's clear that I thought this was the best one of all. Damn Straight was pretty close behind, but ultimately, I decided to put Easy on Me as number 1. First of all, let's break this down. Adele is a beautiful singer. She's always had an amazing talent for soulful singing, and she's showcased that throughout her entire career. Of course, it fits the song perfectly. The piano melody is great, and with the exception of some drums, it's the only instrument you'll hear throughout the entire song. It's stripped back as all the focus is on Adele. She sings her heart out, and damn, she managed to make another ballad that's worthy of the waterworks. It's a song to her son asking for him to go easy on her. Sure, she ended up divorcing his father, but she was going through her own issues at the time. She got married too young and settled down a little too early. She wasn't ready to get married yet or possibly even have a child, but now she has a child who has to deal with their parents being divorced. It's difficult for children to deal with having divorced parents, but at the same time, parents don't like to get divorced. It's never a first option, and it's something they do consider when it comes to how their children will grow up with only one parent after initially only having 2. Adele explains how hard she tried to put both her husband and her son first, but she ultimately couldn't do it. And in the end, despite how difficult it must have been for her, she ended up divorcing. She comes off as very sympathetic, and although she knows it will take some time for her son to process and how bitter he might be at his parents for splitting up, he can come to terms with it. She had good intentions, but that alone isn't going to get her to earn her son's forgiveness. But hopefully, after hearing this plea, he'll understand what she was going through and go easy on her. Personally, I'm not a child of divorce, but I do hope the song will be a message to any children in divorce. Your parents want what's best for you, and they understand that getting divorced affects you too. But if they do get divorced, I understand how difficult it might be to now only be living with one parent, but try to see from their point of view. One day, when you're older, you'll understand. So, go easy on your parents. And try not to rush into a marriage yourself so that the situation will repeat itself when you get older. Best hit song of 2022. Adele, I know the song wasn't aimed at me, but I'll go easy on you. And that's my list. And with that, both my year-end top 10 best and worst hit songs lists are done. By the way, my apologies for both these videos being out a bit late this year. I've been busy with university, I didn't get back home until December 21st, so I was a bit behind in getting these out. The good news is, I already have a couple of videos planned for 2023, including a big music-related video. Stay tuned for that. Till then, stay safe and have a happy new year.